Alright, what is going on, guys? I'm finally back after being gone for almost a year now, I think. I've been gone for so long, and I really apologize for that, guys. I had a lot of things to take care of this past year, like school and stuff, but I am officially back, and I will be making a lot more videos, so please stay tuned, and I really hope you guys have been sticking around. Alright, so here we go. You guys know the drill. Here's my NBA playoff predictions for round 1 of 2017. Alright, so I really don't think this year is going to be too much of a prediction, at least for the first round. But I could be wrong. Now, I'm going to try to make this very quick prediction and not go into too much detail because it's only the first round, first of all, and there are way too many teams to talk about, so I don't want to hold you guys too long like I have in the past. Alright, so starting with the Golden State Warriors and the Portland Trailblazers. I think this is going to be a really fun series to watch, but it's not going to necessarily be a good series. Now, Kevin Durant just came back in the lineup for the Warriors, so this is going to be a good warm-up round for him, I would say, for him to get back to his old self. Now, the Warriors shouldn't even need Kevin Durant to be 100% to win this series because they're a much, much better team. But I also believe that CJ McCollum should be back for the Blazers in the playoffs because I know he's been out the last couple of games because of a slight injury on his shooting hand. So he's literally, in my opinion, CJ McCollum is literally just a crappier and smaller version of Klay Thompson. That's just my opinion. But however, Damian Lillard, though, is having the best season of his entire career this year, with numbers even better than Steph Curry, the back-to-back MVP. So Damian Lillard is currently averaging 27 points per game, about 6 assists and 5 rebounds, with pretty decent field goal percentages to go with that, which is going to make this a very fun series to watch. But, you know, all in all, I'm pretty sure the Warriors are still going to win this series because they're just much deeper than the Blazers, who literally only have their backcourt as their scoring option. So aside from that, aside from McCollum and Lillard, the Blazers don't really have any other scoring options. So they're not deep enough as a team to beat the Warriors, especially offensively. So I'm going to have to give this one to the Warriors. Okay, so moving on. The Clippers and the Jazz. Now, I'm really surprised about the Jazz this year, guys, because they have not made the playoffs for years. And now here they are, 5th in the West. Now, the Clippers have been struggling all season long after that hot start at the beginning of the season. With Blake Griffin and Chris Paul in and out of the lineup consistently and multiple times, I think that really threw the Clippers off their rhythm. However, they did close the season pretty well by winning their last 7 games straight. The Jazz have Gordon Hayward, who's probably, in my opinion, the most underrated player in the NBA because this guy is really good. You know, he can shoot from anywhere. He could pass. He has good handles. He could rebound, and he's a very efficient player offensively as well. He has good field goal percentages and everything, but people don't really talk about him. But anyway, in my opinion, he's basically the only player on the Jazz that can consistently score. They don't have enough star power to compete against the Clippers superstars, and Clippers are also on fire right now as a team, so I'm going to have to give this one to the Clippers. Alright, so Rockets and Thunder. Now, this is going to be an extremely fun series to watch because this series has arguably 2 of the best players in today's game, James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Now, these guys have the most ridiculous averages I have ever seen in my lifetime, with Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double with 31 points per game, 10 assists, 10 rebounds, and leading the league in scoring while he's at it. So James Harden, on the other hand, is averaging 29 points per game, 11 assists, and 8 rebounds. And he's also leading the league in assists while doing so. So with that being said, this is going to be a really fun series to watch. With the Rockets just a much better team and with way too many scoring options, especially from the three-point line, I don't think the Thunder are going to have a chance to beat the Rockets because of that. And also, the Rockets actually broke the three-point record as a team, I think multiple times this season because they have so many three-point shooters and scoring options. Whereas the Thunder only have Russell Westbrook to basically do everything for them as a team, with a little bit of help from Guadalupe in terms of scoring. But aside from that, Russell Westbrook pretty much does everything for that team, which is why he's getting triple doubles. But I don't think that's enough for the Thunder to have a chance to win this series, so I'm gonna have to give it to the Rockets. All right, so Spurs versus Grizzlies. I actually think that of all the series of the Western Conference, this is actually going to be the closest series of all of them, in my opinion. Grizzlies seem pretty healthy with all their key players back, and their team is really healthy. So this is going to be a very interesting series. Spurs have been losing pretty much all their games heading into the playoffs, but I think that it's just because they stopped caring about their record because it didn't matter anymore. Spurs have the size to match up with the Grizzlies in the post, especially against Randolph and Gasol. But I don't think the Grizzlies will have any player who could guard Kawhi Leonard. Now, who's having a superstar season and the best season of his career, especially offensively. Kawhi Leonard is averaging over 25 points per game. And the best defender on the Grizzlies is Tony Allen, but he's way too small to guard Kawhi Leonard. So I don't think the Grizzlies will have an answer for Kawhi Leonard, and so I'm going to have to give this one to the Spurs. All right, moving on to the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics versus the Chicago Bulls. I actually think that this series is going to be much better than most people give it credit for. The Bulls have some really good players on their team, but they just suck as a team. I actually think that they have what it takes to match up against the Celtics, who are actually the number one seed in the Eastern Conference right now. Surprisingly, the Celtics have the smallest backcourt in the entire NBA, but they are extremely deadly shooters and scorers. Avery Bradley and Isaiah Thomas. Now, and the thing is, the Celtics also have a very decent supporting cast to back up these scorers. Whereas, even though the Bulls have many great players on the team, they play way too inconsistently together as a team. The Bulls are so inconsistent as a team, and I think that this is going to be even then, I think this is going to be a pretty interesting match, and I think that the Bulls actually match up against the Celtics pretty well, but due to the inconsistency of the Chicago Bulls and the fact that they play so terribly as a team, even though they have a lot of individually good players, I think that the Celtics are going to take this series. So I'm going to give this one to the Celtics. All right, so the Washington Wizards and the Hawks. I think this is actually going to be the closest series of the entire playoffs, both Eastern Conference and Western Conference. I think the Hawks have better big men and post players than the Wizards, since the Hawks have Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap, but the Wizards' backcourt wins by a long shot with John Wall and Bradley Beal, who are very efficient players and who are miles ahead of the Hawks' backcourt. These two guards are arguably are easily one of the two best are easily one of the best backcourts in the entire NBA. So with that being said, I think the Wizards are going to take this series. All right, so we have the Raptors and the Bucks now. Now, the Bucks have some decent players on their team, but they don't really have a go-to player for offense, except for the Greek Freak. But even he isn't much of an offensive threat. He can't shoot very well still. And the Raptors have DeMar DeRozan, who has improved drastically over the past year, and who is also one of the league's leading scorers today. And their team is just way too deep for the Bucks to handle. The starting lineup for the Raptors is filled with good players, and Ibaka was a huge addition for them this year. And Kyle Lowry is also back in the lineup, shooting better field goal percentages than he's ever shot as a Raptor. Now, Raptors just have way too many good players in comparison to the Bucks, so I'm going to have to give this one to the Raptors. All right, so the last matchup, the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Indiana Pacers. Now, the Cavaliers have been struggling so much near the end of the season, even though they even slipped down to second place and letting the the Celtics claimed the first seed on the Eastern Conference, which was really surprising to me. And also, the Pacers have actually been on fire as of late, winning their last 5 games in a row, while the Cavs actually lost their last 4 games in a row. And Pacers and Cavaliers actually played each other recently, and the game went to double overtime with Cavs winning 135-130. I think this series has a chance to be a decent series, but I actually don't even think that it's going to happen and even be a decent series, because I think that the Cavaliers are going to step it up big time during the playoffs. I think LeBron James and the Cavs are going to take this series very seriously and try to dominate it, despite the Pacers playing very well as of late. I also think that although the Cavs have struggled lately in the regular season, I think that all of that is going to change now that it's the playoffs, and I believe that the Cavs will play extremely well and actually win this series pretty easily. So that's what I think the Cavs are going to do. I think they're going to turn it up and they're going to win this series pretty easily. So I'm going to give this one to Cleveland. All right, anyways, guys, that's it for my NBA playoff predictions for 2017 for the first round. And I already know that some of you guys are probably going to say that I chose all the top teams to win, but the reason I chose them is because I genuinely think that these teams are going to win, guys. If you watch my predictions for previous years or previous playoff series, I didn't always pick the top teams to win. A lot of the times I actually picked teams with the worst record to win, because those teams were the ones that I genuinely thought were going to win. Like, I picked Cleveland Cavaliers to win the NBA Finals last year over the Warriors, even though the Cavaliers were the underdog. And guess what? I was right. So, anyways, thanks again for watching. Let's hope for a good first round. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and please, guys, leave your thoughts below, because I will be interacting with all of you guys for this entire playoffs. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.